Okay, when you hear that, it's time for Lagos farmers. And, even if you happen to be in Lagos at the moment and you're not resident in Lagos, you don't live in Lagos, you still can't stay here. Stay tuned in. This is for you. This is so that you can do a lot better, achieve more with what you do as a farmer. So today I have our in-house personnel. You know him now. You've seen his picture on our platforms. You've heard his voice. Adedeji Odulesi. Hi, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Sarah. Nice meeting you today.
Yes, nice having you on this show. Nice that we're having this on-air conversation. All our conversations have always been off-air. And you speak a couple of you see, he likes to show himself. But you know what? That's off-air conversation. Let's stick to what we came to do here. How are you doing today?
I'm cool.
How's everything?
Very fine.
How has farming been?
Any part of problem?
Okay, so today we're doing climate change and agri-value chains, and it's not just Odulesi we have in the house. We have Mr. Bankole Michael, a director of climate change and environmental planning at the Ministry of Environmental and Water Resources. Good evening. Good to have you here. How are you doing?
Good evening, Sarah. I'm pleased to be here, and I hope that we'll have a nice conversation.
We will have a nice conversation. I've got loads of questions for you.
Yeah.
So don't worry. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very entertaining and very educating at the same time. So you see, the intersection of environmental policy and agriculture is a major focus in Lagos, particularly in relation to the circular economy. So we have a few questions for our director, and we'll begin to have a conversation of just around with these questions on climate change and agri-value chains. So let's start with on the waste to wealth framework. I know that the ministry has been vocal about turning waste into a resource. Can you explain how the climate change department is specifically partnering with the agricultural stakeholders to convert organic market waste into high-grade compost or organic fertilizer for our local farmers? Let's start with that. What have you? Just tell us more on this.
Okay. Thank you very much. And once again, I want to appreciate the invitation and for us to be able to chat about what we do and what the value that we can get from waste. Everybody understands what climate change is, and for us, we try to look at the climate action, what we can get from...
you know what? You know this thing you just said, everybody understands what climate change. Just give us a layman's definition, because some people are tuning in and learning for the first time. Yeah. And we just say climate change. It's a big grammar for the average Nigerian.
Yes, it's big, but climate change basically means a long-term change in temperature and weather patterns. So when you look at data and you try to compare the temperature changes, the weather conditions over a long period of time, and you see specific changes in patterns, changes in precipitation, changes in temperature, then you begin to understand that, okay, something has changed in the atmosphere. And for us, we try to look at the implication of climate change. What are the impact of climate change to us? We try to understand the science behind it. And understanding the science behind climate change helps us to be able to bring out climate action. And one of the climate action is, because we know that climate change affects the way of life of human being. If there is too much rain, then it's going to disrupt activity. Even farmers that need water, they don't need so much water. When the rain continue to persist over a long period, then it's going to affect their farming. And in respect of what we want to talk about today, we are looking at climate change and agriculture. And you specifically mentioned the waste to wealth.
Yes.
Studies have shown that the waste, the principal chemicals emitted or gases from organic fruit waste, organic waste generally, is highly potent greenhouse gas, and they affect the ozone layer, depleting the ozone. And what we try to do here is that naturally, when we take all our waste, we take them to the dump site. And when you take your waste to the dump site, there is generation of methane, there is generation of nitrogen oxide, there is a lot of gases that are generated in that dump site facility. And at the end of the day, these gases migrate to the atmosphere, and is what we call, that brings about global warming. Now, for us, what we have done is that trying to put climate change into perspective so that people can see it. I tell people climate change sometimes is like talking about insurance. You know that there is insurance, but you cannot see it with your eyes. We cannot see all these gases with our eyes. And the question is, we've been talking about climate change. What can we do? And what we have done in the Ministry of the Environment is to take the fruit waste from Ikosi fruit market and convert it into biogas. Biogas that at the end of the day is used to power generator to light the market. So right now in the evening, the marketers enjoy light from their own waste. So it is not from cradle to grave. It is now cradle to cradle because the loop has been open. We use their waste to generate biogas for them. And even the waste from the process of producing biogas is what we call digestate. This digestate is a fertilizer that they can also use in their farm. But at the moment, what we are doing now is that we are giving the biogas to the marketers. One of the marketers is using it to cook. One is using it to charge phones because that's what it does in the market. And in the evening from around 7 p.m., we put on the light so that everybody can do the activity. When they are offloading and discharging at night, there is light. The digestate that is produced from this process has now been taken through some chemical laboratory tests for us to determine the compound inside the digestate. Is it appropriate for farming? Because we need to be very, very clear of what we have in the waste product before we now apply it to our soil again. So right now, Ikosi Biogas plant is a very good example of climate action in process.
Thank you so much for that one. That's a value that you're offering back to the society, and that's a good one, I will say. So on carbon credit for farmers, now with the global shift towards carbon markets, is the ministry working on a framework where Lagos farmers practice sustainable agriculture like agroforestry or zero tillage? Yes. They can benefit from carbon credit schemes.
Thank you. Carbon credit is a big word, and right now is a buzzword. Everybody wants to know, can I gain credit from what I'm doing? Yes, it is possible. But recently, last year, the Federal Ministry of Environment and Nigerian Climate Change Council brought out a framework that is going to guide the way we do carbon credit in the country. And for us in Lagos State, what we are doing is trying to study the framework and try to see how we can, create our own framework in conjunction with what we have from the national. And right now, Ministry of the Environment in conjunction with LSADA, what we have done is that we have created what we call a carbon registry. And that is in the process of developing our own carbon market framework. And until this framework is concluded, then there is nothing that we can do at the moment. However, what we try to advise with farmers when we engage with them through the NGO platforms and any other platform that we have is for them to, do smart agriculture. We try to educate ourselves. We have facilitators that train them on how to do smart agriculture. It is not only about carbon credit. Carbon credit is not the beginning and the end of the whole process.
Okay.
The process is to ensure that there is food availability for teaming negotiations to avoid food insecurity. So, but the carbon credit will get there as the process moves on.
Okay, thank you so much. I've still got more questions for you, anyways.
Let me take him back a little.
Okay.
The one you mentioned at Ikosi.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there plans to replicate it in other markets?
Of course. The whole process is there's something that we call proof of concept. Sometimes you can envision something on paper. Can that thing work?
Is it
possible?
Is it feasible?
Is it visible? Now, we envision turning our waste into gas. And it took us about 16 to 18 months to get that Ikosi biogas plant going. And now we've learned on the process, we've seen what it takes, and we know that this is doable. Now, the next chapter for us is to identify other markets, bigger markets. What we have at Ikosi is a process that only treats 500 kilogram of fruit waste per day.
Okay.
But we can now replicate that process, increase it to 1 ton or 2 ton, depending on the land. And then it's also an opportunity for us to showcase what we have done in Ikosi to other donor agencies or partners, for them to take the project from our hand. And then, because the return on investment is there, people are willing to pay for the light.
Yeah.
If they know that consistently there is going to be service. Right now, what we did in Ikosi, we are not charging anybody at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's free for now at Ikosi Market.
It's free for now. But it's a pilot program, but we have our business case scenario. Because if you look at a kilogram of gas, the last time I bought gas is around 1,000 something. Now, if I'm going to give you biogas that is going to be cheaper than the normal gas that you use, and is going to provide the same facility or the same work that the normal gas is going to produce for you, so it is cheaper on the long run. The man that is using the biogas to charge phones right now is making 100% gain, because people bring the phones to him for him to charge, and he's using our own biogas for free. So when they pay him 200 or 300, I don't know how much they pay, it means that all the capital goes to his pocket.
Yeah.
He's not spending anything. So we've done our own work, and we can replicate it in any other market. The technology has been proven to work.
That means looking beyond agricultural waste. This one was initiated using agricultural
waste.
Okay, since we have so many, Lagos, I would say Lagos is the highest generator of waste in Nigeria, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, which means this process can also be extended perhaps to our dump sites or to other.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
There is something that Lamata is doing. I don't know. I know it's not their program, but because we are part of it.
Okay.
Lamata is also trying to use CNG or biogas to power their fleet.
Okay.
And there is a committee.
Okay.
Now, we cannot use only the fruit waste.
Yeah.
But we are going to have a conglomerate of waste. Mm-hmm. The abattoir waste, the agricultural waste, the fruit, everything are going to be put together to get this biogas. And from our dump site, what you see in our dump site are not just waste, they are resource.
Yeah. With
the right technology, we can transform our waste into energy. And the plans are on the ground.
Great.
We have, the ministry has signed MOU with a foreign partner, and we have people coming to us to tell us. Today, I had a meeting, an informal meeting with somebody that is saying, "Oh, I have something I want to do in Epe, and I want the ministry to be part of it." And I said, "Okay, it is possible. Yeah. It is converting our waste into fuel, so that you can use it to cook." So there are so many opportunities from the waste value chain that we can tap into, and the state government is working assiduously to make sure that we not only bury our waste, but turn our waste into
wealth.
something
To
meaningful for
value.
us.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Like I said, on water resource management for irrigation, for instance, climate change is making rainfall patterns increasingly unpredictable. So, what are the collaborative projects in place between the Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems to ensure better waste harvesting and sustainable irrigation for farmers during the dry season?
Yeah, I must say here, I am not an expert on watershed management, but what I'm saying may be theoretical and from experience. I was in Cape Town several years ago, and they had drought, and it was the policy of the government as at then for them to conserve water and then to harvest water from rain. So you see in each apartment residence, they have containers where they harvest water. Now for us in Lagos, we have so much water that at the end of the day, most of us will waste the water.
Yes.
But because we have so much water does not mean that we must waste. From theory, I'm talking theoretically now, and from the experience I have on climate change, there is a need for us to be able to conserve water. There's a need for us to keep water. And when it comes to lot of rainfall, lot of precipitation, it does not mean that because we have a lot of precipitation, the water is even useful, because the water will have mixed with so many things, and it is not potable. And for our activity, then we now need to be able to think, what do I do? Should I keep some water in case of when the rain will stop? Or how do I manage my water? Now, look at Lake Chad. Lake Chad has almost shrunk to nothing. And because there is no more water in Lake Chad, it's now causing security challenges.
Yeah.
Because you see migrants moving in search of water, in search of
Pasture.
If Lake Chad has been, because
were.
it's serving so many countries,
Yeah.
but now it has now shrunk, and there is absolutely no water there. So you see the Fulani headmen migrating from the north to the south in search of pasture. And in climate change, we attribute it such a repercussion, or the impact of that is food crisis that's related to climate change, because they are looking for food, they are looking for water, and they have to move. And then before you see it, people start fighting over the natural resources. So we have water, but we must think on how we use the water reasonably. And because you never know. You never know. That there's something I had some years ago. A man in Surrey was, digging borehole. As soon as a borehole gets dry up, he dig another one. So what it means is that you are going deep into the aquifer.
Yeah.
And when you go deep into the aquifer, then something can happen underground. You can see the movement of the earth. You understand? So, and when there is a movement under the ground, you start seeing houses, bending, and anything can happen. We are so blessed that we are not on the line of tremor and whatever, but our activity can actually cause tremor.
Okay, to manage the climate.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have means of forecasting to Lagosians that, like last year, the rainfall was quite erratic.
Yeah.
The rain fell more than we expected.
Even this year is going to be.
Okay, so how do Lagosians get to know? Do you put on ground to make?
So about 2-3 weeks ago, my commissioner was on air.
Okay.
Talking about this. We work in conjunction with NIMET.
Okay.
And we have the predictions for this year.
Okay.
The rain is going to start from March and it's going to end in December. And you may say it is prediction, but last year we also said it,
and it happened.
And the rain fell until January.
Yeah.
So if the rain is not falling now, it does not mean that it's not going to come. It's going to come. And it's going to come heavily. And there are many reasons climate-wise that we can attribute to it. There is increase in greenhouse gas release. There is the activity that we do by burning tires, burning waste, and all the things that we do is going to, the atmosphere is charged and the water is going to come.
Okay. All right. Okay. I still have one more question for you before we wrap this up, because we're short of time already.
Absolutely.
3 minutes before we wrap up. So just one more. So on coastal resilience and aquaculture, for our fishers, for our fish farmers along the coast and lagoons, rising sea levels and salinity, the major concern. So how is the department partnering with researchers to introduce climate-smart aquaculture techniques that protect both the environment and livelihoods of fishermen?
We also work on policy and try to see what we need to do. Sea level rise is one of the major climate indicators for Lagos. Lagos is like a sponge. When you throw a sponge inside water and you bring it out, the water will drain off. But because of the way we have, of our activity, the way we have built, the way we have grown, you see that we are locking the whole place up. People build on drainage channels. We do a lot of indiscriminate things. Now, in relation to farmers, Ministry of Agriculture has done a lot of education, have done a lot of programs to educate. And what we can only do from our end is to lend our voice and partner with the academicians, partner with NGOs for awareness campaign to educate our farmers on the best way possible. Somebody was talking to me one day and said, when do you water your plants? And I said, you can water your plant anytime. He said, no. If you water your plant anytime, you're going to kill the plant. There is an amount of water that the plant needs, and you only water plants in the morning and in the night. Because when you water the plant in the afternoon, you are burning the plant because it's already hot. So these are the kind of things that we do. We educate ourselves, we talk with ourselves, and then I know that Lagos State is doing a lot. Ministry of Agriculture is doing a lot, and on our part, we are trying to, collaborate with them to make sure that this policy document or these policy decisions are followed up through awareness, through education, and people do it right.
Sarah, before we let him go, water hyacinth.
Yes.
Can you talk about it in 2 minutes?
Okay.
Water hyacinth.
Water utilization.
The question is water hyacinth peculiar to Lagos?
No.
This thing flows from other area.
Yeah.
Some people have said, it is because we charge our water with so much phosphorus and then they grow. We know that water hyacinths are a danger to the aquatic life because they take so much from the water and oxygen does not go down. So, but what we have seen now is that what was a problem before is now there is a solution, there's an opportunity, because science is so wide that people have researched into water hyacinth and they are converting it into other purpose. From my office, we've not done so much work on it, but I've been at workshops. I've seen people convert water hyacinth to bangles for ladies, to chain and all. And I think there is value also for us to make sure that the water hyacinth not only become a menace, but an opportunity. And part of the things that we do in my department in the ministry is to do gender mainstreaming by talking to female folks, talking to youth to be innovative, to think outside the box and do something. Last year, we did something that is called Lagos Has Talent, and it was open to youth from 18 to 35. And the grand winner used rappers, your Indomie rappers, all these rappers, bring them together to make a very beautiful artwork. So, and this is what we are also clamoring for, and it's also is happening with the water asset issue. And what we need to do, maybe what we need to do now from our ministry, is to look at, okay, how do we do a proof of concept on the government side, and then if and when we get the solution and convert it to other useful materials, then we can now replicate and blow it up.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Actually, we do have a lot more questions for you, but we're short of time. So you just heard Mr. Bankole Michael, Director of Climate Change and Environmental Planning. If you see, we've been talking a lot about climate change. So it's the Director of Climate Change and Environmental Planning at the Ministry of Environmental and Water Resources. And the other personnel, someone you know all the time, at DDG Udulesi. And it's a wrap already. I hope you learned something. If you have questions, please send a message to 080-991-20777. Definitely forward your questions to the team. It's a wrap already. So it makes a return on Friday next week at exactly 4:30 p.m. Don't touch the dial. Stay here and always stay informed.